What is up, YouTube? You are watching Acorns Aggressive Portfolio. I am Casey with bestinvestingapps.com, and if you stick around, you're going to learn all about the aggressive portfolio with Acorns, how to use it, whether or not it's safe, and whether or not it makes sense. Plus, I'm really excited to announce that we are going to be giving away some discounted memberships to our new members-only side of Best Investing Apps, where you can learn the more technical side of investing, really roll your sleeves up and get started doing it yourself. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Here's what the portfolio projection boils down to. They're saying that if you put in $85 a month and this portfolio performs it the way that it has in the past, at some age in the future, you will have a projected value. You will have earned $11,000 and contributed like 14 or whatever the difference is there. So you can just drag this along and see what your portfolio could be at some given time in the future. So if you manage to get a hold of it in here, you can click and drag vertically, and what this is doing is adjusting your monthly contribution. So you can see now it's assuming that I contribute $760. I can bring this back down. Let's say I want to contribute $15 a month. You can drag this up and down and it will adjust your future performance based on that. Great, so now we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and this is where we actually find out what the aggressive portfolio is made up of. It has 5 different components. Each of these is an exchange traded fund or an ETF. And we can click on them to find out what they are. So I click on the large company stocks or large cap stocks, and it says this is the ETF VOO, small cap stocks, ETF VB, emerging markets, VWO, and right on down the line. So I already have some of these open. Let's go to the large cap stocks, VOO. Already got a tab open. We go over to morningstar.com. We type in VOO, and it brings it right up, but I'm already here on the page. So let's take a look at it. As we scroll down, we find out that this is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. It has great ratings. In fact, I know this ETF. Many investors know this ETF as one of the best on the market. It has an extremely low expense ratio, 0.04%. That is incredibly small. Very great. Tells you a little bit more information about this ETF. Now, the details of how to analyze an ETF are a little bit beyond the scope of this article, but suffice it to say that we can find the information for each of these, so VB, over on Vanguard, or over on Morningstar, excuse me, they're Vanguard funds, and we can learn a little more about them. If you want to know more about analyzing an ETF, leave me a comment. We'll make another video for that. So we can see that 20% of this aggressive portfolio, large cap, 35% is small cap, and right on down the line is pretty self-explanatory. Now, these are called asset classes, and combining asset classes has a number of benefits, including reducing your overall volatility of your portfolio and ideally increasing your expected returns given that. Now, we can go down and we can click download the prospectus. What the prospectus is a legally required detailed document for every ETF or investment product. I'll click download the VOO prospectus. Here's the Vanguard VOO prospectus. This has all of the information we need to know about the past performance of the fund, the return before taxes, return after taxes, all sorts of great information. We want to look as far back as possible, and we see that since inception in 2010, this has returned almost 15%. That's awesome. That's really good. As a do-it-yourself investor using Acorns, it's pretty important to understand what you're invested in, and that's one of the goals of the prospectus. Here you'll find on page 3, for example, the principal risks of this particular ETF. And now we have to remember that each has 5 different ETFs, so we'll need to understand all of those. This is just one. We can see that it has stock market risk, which is something in the financial world. There are different types of risks, and each one has a special name, and they pertain to very specific things. So investment style risk is the chance that returns for large cap stocks will do worse than other types of investments. and so on and so forth. You can dig into that a little bit yourself. Now, how do I double check that the returns that the prospectus says are actually true? Well, let's go over to VOO on Morningstar, and let's look at performance here under the performance tab. We can see that if we had started with $10,000 invested in VOO in 2010 when it was launched, that would now be worth, VOO price blue is up here. Let's see, it'd be worth maybe 26 grand. Pretty cool. We can take a look at the trailing total returns. So VOO 5-year trailing total returns 15.29%. That's pretty good as compared to the S&P as a whole, 15.34%. Of course, it's going to do a little worse than the S&P because of the expense ratio. Now, we could, and I encourage you to, dig more deeply into analyzing and understanding every ETF in the portfolio, but that's going to bore you out of your mind for the purposes of this video. So let's suffice it to say that by using the prospectus and information easily available on sites like Vanguard, we can make a good, educated understanding of what it is we're investing in here in the aggressive portfolio. Now, the overall goal of the aggressive portfolio is to return more over time. In doing so, we have to accept that the value may fluctuate more aggressively because in the short term, some of these investments may be a little more wild of a ride in order to get us those higher returns. If this video has been helpful to you and you have saved money or invested some money a little more intelligently because of our help, please hit that like button and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you want more details or if you have any questions about analyzing your own aggressive portfolio in the Acorns app. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time. Now, if you are just getting started investing and you want to know more about doing your own investing, I'm really excited to announce my free ebook is out right now called Invest, 3 Easy Steps to Investing. Find the link down below, go download your free copy, and it'll help you get started investing a little bit better just before dinner time. It doesn't take very long at all.